Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe. We'll look at the standard gas as well as the hybrid version, some interior, exterior, and trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the 26 Hyundai Santa Fe, and this particular one is the hybrid SEL all-wheel drive. So there's quite a few different trim levels. There's a couple different engine options when you're looking at the new 26 Santa Fe. So we'll do a little bit of information before we hit the road. Now, changes for 2026 for the non-hybrid version really affect more of the higher tier trim levels. The calligraphy or the XRT or the limited are going to get a few bigger changes, but the main one that happened with the standard gas Santa Fe would be they've gone away from that 8-speed dual clutch to more of the standard torque converter automatic. So beyond that, a few of those changes are going to be things like the bench seating in the back would be a little bit different for optional captain's chairs, which are now going to come standard in the limited model. And then most of the other things outside of that automatic transmission are going to be a little bit more kind of small term based. But a big difference now for the hybrid for 2026 is there's a new base SE model. So one tier below this one if you want to keep the price down a little bit, and that the limited now comes standard with the second row captain's chairs. So this particular one has the bench, but you can also get that in the limited. So like I said, it can get a little confusing, but if you visit the Hyundai website, they do a great job of breaking down all the different options and equipment. Now, a few other things, the SEL will get third row USB-C charging back there now. So this particular one gets that as well. There's another zone climate control in the back, which is pretty cool, and a little bit of other ways to keep everything charged up throughout the entire vehicle. Before we even get going, I've got my phone here with me as we always do. Now we've got wireless charging down here. You can even get 2 wireless charging pads depending on the trim level. And we've got wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. So it makes it very easy and safe when you're on the road to not be messing with your phone. But as you can hear, we kind of jump in and out of EV mode depending on how high the air conditioning is going because it's pretty hot this morning. But that's what's pretty cool about the hybrid. There's a great fuel economy and a lot of benefit to looking at this one. So we'll touch on that here as we put it in drive, go for a spin around. Now, the easiest way to know would be if you're in or out of the hybrid mode would be there's a little green light that says EV up on the dash. You can hear as I take off, the engine shuts off and it's a seamless transition to the EV mode. And it's really pretty comfortable. Then it'll even kind of switch back and forth as it needs it. This one's been kind of sitting on our lot for a little bit, so it might not have the most full charge out of the battery, but once you drive around, it will regen some of that power back up. This isn't a plug-in hybrid vehicle. This is just gonna help you out get the best possible fuel economy when you're on the go. Now, the rating on this particular one with the all-wheel drive, you're looking at about 34 mpg combined. So that means that's 35 mpg in the city, and this is a third row SUV. That's one of the big changes now for this new Santa Fe is that they brought back that third row for 2025, and they've kept that obviously into 26. Not that it's a huge third row. It's not like being in a Tahoe or a Suburban XL or anything like that, but you do get room if you got the kiddos back there. I'm 6'1", I crawled in the back. Yeah, it's a little tight for me, but I think you got the kids, their friends, you can put everybody into the vehicle and pretty much get where you need to go. Now let's talk about what powers these different options. Now in the standard Santa Fe, we're looking at a 2.5 liter, 277 horsepower, and that's gonna be pretty good. That gets you moving along. Obviously the fuel economy will suffer a little bit when comparing it with the hybrid, but it's not a whole lot different as far as a ride and drive goes. I obviously like the hybrid because of that quietness of the EV, but if you don't want to spend the little bit of extra money that it takes to jump into the hybrid, I think the standard Santa Fe is really fun and a perfectly balanced motor, and now with the new transmission or that different torque converter, that makes it a pretty smooth and easy to drive vehicle for day to day. Now, if we're jumping back to the hybrid, this is going to be a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder with one electric motor. That's only going to be about 231 horsepower combined, but that electric torque kind of fills in and helps you out. So if I put my foot down, it'll get up and move along just fine. I think for 99% of the time, if it's just you running to work, picking up the kids, buzzing around town, I think either one of these is a great engine that's just going to be, easy to use day to day and just will still get you some pretty good fuel economy no matter which one you're looking at. Now let's talk about the exterior, because I love the way these new Santa Fe's look. So obviously the redesign last year came out and it gives you some pretty cool design language. There's even the off-road or the XRT version, the calligraphy, which gets a ton of equipment and a different wheel and tire, but I like the hybrid. This one's got the 18-inch wheels. It's kind of that silver and black mix. It's almost like a 5-spoke with a fill-in. So I think that is just a little bit of extra aerodynamics to help you again with that fuel economy. But it also looks pretty cool. And then one thing that kind of runs through these Santa Fe's is kind of that H pattern design. So Hyundai has kind of gone with that design language for the Santa Fe. It's in the headlights, it's in the interior, it kind of runs throughout, but it's not really in your face, if that makes sense. It just kind of all works together nicely with this vehicle and gives it a pretty cool road presence. Now up front, those H design headlights and the LED bar that runs across even comes in the SEL model. I think it does look pretty cool. Like I said, the white looks really good, and these also come in a bunch of pretty cool colors. So if you're looking for something a little maybe louder physically, there's definitely an option there for you. This particular one also even gets the power liftgate. So the SEL, Hyundai wanted to design this vehicle to have you be able to maybe be in the back where you're out camping or you've got room to load everything up. And even with the third row up, you can still fit a little bit of stuff back there. But they make it really easy. Even with one hand when I'm holding the camera, you just pull that little strap on the back of the seat and that will fold down. And then the second row in the SEL is also going to be power. So you can click that and it will knock that second row down and you get a pretty large little cargo area back there. It almost feels like a pickup truck, the amount of space that's actually in this Santa Fe, which is pretty cool. But if you're not hauling people, I think 95% of the time, like I said, great fuel economy, buzzing around, maybe you bought something you were planning on at IKEA, I think you'll have enough room to fit it in the Santa Fe. Again, back to that little third row, like I said, you have a different climate control back there, so you can kind of turn the fan speed up if the kids are back there and want a little more air, or the USB-C charging. So if you're gonna go on a road trip, when I got in this morning in this hybrid with the tank full, it said I have a range of 550 miles. That's crazy. You could go so far with this vehicle. Like I said, maybe you're jumping out, going on a road trip. You can even get from Minneapolis to Chicago without ever hitting a gas station. I don't know how that's possible because if you're like me, you stop way too much, but it could be done. Now, the second row in this vehicle also gets some pretty good little comfort features. This one's got the USB charging just kind of behind my arm here in the seats, which is pretty cool. And you've also got a little storage cubby down below. And you can even access this center console from the back. So if the kids need something, they're bugging you, they can open it up and you can keep your attention on the road. Now let's talk about some of the Hyundai safety features. So there is so much built into these vehicles. Like I said, with the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, makes it so easy to not be messing with my phone, especially if you got the family in the vehicle. We've got blind spot monitoring, emergency braking. I mean, there's so much built into these. And if you've never used the adaptive cruise control with that lane departure warning before, it's pretty cool. You can adjust it even right here on the steering wheel, so that smart cruise will keep that car length distance ahead of you, and it will even slow down. It kind of picks up speed. It's a pretty cool safety feature that lets you eat up a lot of miles in comfort. Now, this particular one has the two 12.3-inch digital displays. So like I keep saying, the CarPlay, which I love, and it's so quick in here as well. There's almost no lag on the screen. You can swipe back and forth easily. Then on the left side, we've got our digital gauge cluster. Not a whole lot going on in there, just lets you kind of keep track of your pertinent information. It can even pull up stop signs though, which is pretty cool, and show you the speed limit signs, which is pretty nice. Then on our steering wheel, I love the design. There's a little bit of a thicker steering wheel in here, but on the left side, that controls the digital gauge cluster and some of your safety stuff. And then on the right side of the vehicle, that's gonna be your volume controls, and then you've also got Siri. So if you press and hold the voice control, you can pull that up. So if you're an Apple user and you wanna use Siri, also a pretty neat feature. So there's a lot of buttons down here below. So whether that's for the climate control or these H-Tech seating is also going to be heated for the driver and the passenger. You can even get ventilated seats. You can do a heated steering wheel in some of these Santa Fe's. So there's a lot of pretty cool equipment you can load into these. But even this one, just as the SEL, having those heated seats in here and having a remote start on the key fob makes it a pretty great way to kind of tackle some of those Minnesota winters. Or when it's super hot like today, you can fire it up, it'll kick the AC on and have it nice and cool for you. But then, like I said, I've also got wireless charging for my phone here, USB-C charging, and then a huge storage cubby underneath. Whether you're storing something out of sight or your purse goes down there, there's lots of room for that, which is always good to have extra storage space. And even in the doors, in the door pockets, there's a lot of room that's pretty usable in the Santa Fe. But what about the ride and drive? So we've got different drive modes in here. So you can go from an eco, sport, my drive, which you can program, and then even a snow mode. So like I said, this is the all-wheel drive. We're up here in Minnesota. We do get a lot of snow. I've driven these in the wintertime, and they are very competent and pretty, fearless on the road. When you've got the all-wheel drive, got some great tires on these, and especially in the snow mode, kind of helps you get the best possible traction and bite. Makes for a great year-round driver. But then if you kick it back into the eco mode, the gauges kind of change around in here, and it's just gonna kind of help you try and get that best possible fuel economy. But on the road, It's amazing how quiet this vehicle is. A lot of new cars, you get some of that road noise or maybe wind noise when you're in the cabin, and especially when it's an EV, like I'm in EV mode now and it's so quiet in here at the stop sign, it's comfortable. And that's really the important thing, right? You don't get a lot of road noise when you're out on the highway, you don't get all that wind noise and kind of the tire noise sometimes. This is just a nice, relaxing place to be. I had my podcast, my music going earlier, and even the SEL, the sound system was great in here. I mean, there's just a lot to like. Like I said, 95% of the time, it's you in the car running around, picking up the kids. There's a ton of room in the back. The doors actually open really nicely. So if you're loading up the car seats still, you can make that pretty simple. And then even the little kids being able to access that third row, there's kind of a button you can press up on the shoulder of the second row or down below. So if the little kids want to push the button, hop in the third row, makes it a little easier. That's pretty cool as well. But I mean, overall, it's road construction season up here, so the roads are obviously terrible, but this thing just kind of eats it up. It's really simple to spend time behind the wheel. Like I said, the infotainment is great in here, the comfort, the AC is blasts away and nice cold, especially when you can change the different zones in the car. I think if you're shopping for a third row SUV, you found out how competitive it is in the market right now. There's so many great options, whether it's Hyundai, Honda, Toyota, some of the GM vehicles. There's a lot of competition. So having something with a great warranty like Hyundai offers at 10-year, 100,000 miles, they're even offering complimentary maintenance on these vehicles. Now we do have to touch on the MSRP or the pricing. So this particular SEL with the all-wheel drive, we're looking at about 42 or 43,000. Now the hybrid's going to come in at kind of the $37,000, $38,000 price range for the base, and then it's going to be, like I said, a little bit cheaper if you're looking at the standard Santa Fe without the hybrid system. So that particular one not only tows a little bit more if you're looking to maybe bring like a jet ski or a small trailer around, you probably wouldn't want to go with the hybrid in that regard, but with the pricing on that particular one, I think you're about a couple grand less. So it really is, you know, kind of dependent. Do you need the great fuel economy? Are you looking for that? Do you want to save a few bucks up front? I think maybe then skip the hybrid version, but there's a lot to like on either one of these Santa Fe's. I think they did a great job with the design, the look, the feel. Everything fits comfortably. It's nice. Everything's within arm's reach of where you want it to be. I just think it's one of the best third row SUVs. Outside of jumping up to the Palisade, if you don't need a lot of room in the third row, or maybe you're not using it as much, you just want something that gets great mileage and looks cool, I think the Hyundai Santa Fe is definitely one to add to the list to come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.